Hey there, my name's Tanya, and I've had a lot of family and friends reaching out to me asking me, how do I medically advocate for myself? Because I've grown up dealing with hospitals and doctors and having chronic illnesses, and so I just wanted to share the tips and tricks that I've learned. So hopefully, my family and friends, as well as anybody else that pops upon this video can just learn things that might be helpful to them. Sometimes dealing with hospitals and doctors' offices can be pretty overwhelming. I'm realizing now that not everybody's had the opportunities that I've had within the medical field, meaning I've grown up with chronic illnesses and medical problems my whole life, and so I recently realized that not everybody grew up the way that I did, where I was in and out of doctor's offices, hospitals, receiving medical attention all the time. And so I just wanted to share with you what's helpful. For example, my parents recently told me that they've never had an IV in their entire life. I can't even tell you how many I've had. I can't count them on my hands. I couldn't probably come up with a realistic number, which is kind of sad, but also that means I've probably had a little bit of experience with it. So why not share that experience with you? I don't want you to make the mistakes that I've made within the medical realm. Quick disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, a medical professional. I don't work within the medical industry at all. So I'm not really giving you medical recommendations. I'm just giving you things that have helped me get myself through the medical field. I wouldn't recommend that you take medical recommendations from me. Again, I am not a doctor, so please don't do that. The first thing that I want to share is that you know your body best. I know that kind of sounds funny, but fun fact, the doctors don't live in your body. They don't know your body better than you do. Doctors are super smart, but they don't know every single thing. Everybody's body is different. So, that being said, you know what symptoms you're having and how you're feeling within your body, so you can't let a doctor tell you how you're feeling, because you're the only one that can truly know the way that you are feeling. The other thing within this is you generally know if a medicine is working for you. So if you're not feeling the effects of a medicine after you've been on it for quite a while, that means it's probably not working for you. In different people's bodies, different medicines work and different medicines don't. So let's keep that in your consideration. It's also okay to tell a doctor that a medicine isn't working, because if you know it's not working, then it's probably not, and the doctor really needs to know that so they can get you on a new medical plan. Granted, sometimes a medicine takes a while to start working, so I also wanted to put that caveat in there. You have to give medicines time to start working. I know some medicines I've been on have taken months to start working, so you might ask your doctor about how long certain medicines will take to start working. That's something to keep in mind. I know it can get really disheartening at times when a medicine isn't working and you're just like, please let it work, please let it work. But sometimes good things take time. The next thing I wanted to talk about is, even though you are weak in the moment, you're not feeling good, you're still strong. I know that when you're working with doctor's offices, you're normally not feeling very good. Even though you're not feeling well, you're still your best advocate. You're still the best person to stand up for yourself, because you know yourself best, kind of like we already talked about. So you're allowed to still stand up for yourself when you're not feeling good. And it's okay to be bold with doctors. It's okay to tell them what you need, even when you're not feeling good. And honestly, that's sometimes the best time to do that, because you're feeling passionate in your heart. And so doctors are more likely to listen to you during those times. It's also okay to ask for help if you're not feeling well and you know that you can't be bold with the doctors, or maybe you've been so disheartened that you're just sick of things not working. It's okay to take somebody with you and help them be the advocate with you. The next thing I want to talk about is it's okay to say no to doctors. I know with my doctors, I want to be nice, I want to be agreeable, I want to be respectful, I want the doctor to like me, and so it's hard to say no sometimes. I've also been trained through my life that doctors are an authority figure, or they know what they're doing, so they should know everything that's going on, and so that always gets stuck in the back of my head. I was also told to trust doctors my whole life. Doctors are safe. They're the good people. They're the people that are taking the best care of you, and they're the ones that want the best for you. So it's hard to want to say no to them. So I wanted to give an example of a time that I've said no, because how do you put this into effect? How do you say no to a doctor? So I had one medicine that I just really struggle with when I'm on. It's called prednisone. I'm thinking about making a video about it and how to survive when you're on it, because it's a steroid, helps reduce swelling, that type of thing. If you have questions, ask your doctor about it. But that medicine gives me major side effects. For instance, I get roid rage, which means I just get like super angry and things annoy me, and I'm just kind of aggressive when I'm on it, as well as I get hot flashes. It gives me almost like OCD symptoms where like I hyper focus on something and I can't let it go, and it kind of controls my life for a while. Also, it puts me into manic episodes. Granted, I also have things that I'm working through with my therapist, but it does push me into things like that. Sadly, it does lead into suicidal thoughts for me. So lots of different doctors for lots of different things require that I go on that medicine. I had doctors say that it's the only option for my treatment before, which is a little bit intimidating because that's a medicine that's not safe for me to be on, honestly, if I'm having all these negative side effects. So one comment that I tend to say to doctors when they say something is the only option is, I'm telling you that this is not an option. This is not an avenue that we can take, and this is off the table. So what are the other options that we have? Because I would rather live with the symptoms that I'm having than put my life at risk and be on this medication. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. What are they gonna say to that? Sometimes they do push back on it and they say like, no, that's literally the only thing that you could be on. There's always another option. So maybe that's something that you can implement into your own conversations. But to be honest, it feels weird, right? That's kind of uncomfortable to say to a doctor. But you're allowed to. It's your body, and you control what goes into your body. My next recommendation is to prep before your appointments. A lot of people I know are nervous before appointments, and they're nervous to go into the doctor, and what if I forget something that's important? So something that I do is if I'm meeting with a new doctor, I write down questions and concerns I have before the appointment, as well as symptoms. That way when I'm in the appointment, I don't miss anything that could be really important. I would also write down different medical information regarding your medical history as well, so then you can go over that with your doctor while you're with them. Sometimes you forget things that are important regarding your medical history if you haven't written those down. And if you miss things whenever you're talking about your medical history, sometimes it impacts what plan they would have put you on. So if you would have said one thing or like missed something, they might put you on a whole different plan if they didn't know that information beforehand. During appointments, I honestly recommend that you take notes while you're there, especially if you're a nervous person during appointments, because it's really easy to forget what a doctor tells you. And I know it's kind of awkward to sit there with a notepad and a paper taking notes during it, but it's important to know what plan you made with your doctor. If you have a hard time remembering things, and even writing it down is going to be hard for you to still remember what your shorthand means, you can take somebody with you to the appointments. They can take notes, or they can help you remember what the doctor was talking to you about. That's also good for a medical advocate as well, having somebody there to back you up if you're scared to tell that doctor no, like we talked about earlier. What about contact with your doctors? So what should your conversations look like with a doctor? What should your relationship with your doctor look like? I tend to put doctors on a pedestal, which gives me anxiety before an appointment. I sometimes have to remember that a doctor is a human being. They're a normal person just like me. It's just a conversation that I'm having with them to make a plan for my life. That really helps me take a lot of that anxiety away from those conversations. Something that's important for conversations with doctors is do not let a doctor make you feel rushed during your appointment. The doctor is there to help you. That's what they're supposed to be doing. That's their job. That's hopefully why they're in the medical field. That's their goal, is to be there to help you. Don't let yourself rush through your appointment. Take the time that you need with that doctor because you only have that limited time with them. This is something I really struggle with. It's okay to ask a lot of questions. They honestly probably would rather you ask the question than make a bad decision in regards to your medical health. It's okay to have follow-up with your doctors. I know with some of the medical systems that I work with, they have an online option to be able to message doctors. It's okay to message your doctors and follow up and see if the plan that you have in place is still working. Let them know, yes, it's working. No, it's not working. What should my next steps be? It's okay to keep up the conversation and keep it flowing. They can have nurses respond to you if they don't have the time. It's also okay to follow up and see how things are going with your insurance. For example, I've had medicines that it takes a while to get it approved through insurance because it's kind of expensive. And so sometimes they forget to tell you that something has been rejected through insurance. So it's important to follow up with them and see if that medicine is going through and what the next steps are to get those medications. This one is really important to me personally. If you don't feel comfortable with a doctor, you don't have to see them. For example, if a doctor is creepy, you have intuition, and that means maybe that doctor is not the right fit for you. There are creepy doctors in the world. I've sadly had some. Not required to work with them. You can switch to a different specialist. You can go to a different doctoral group. Not locked in when you're with a doctor. Also, when it comes to creepy or uncomfortable doctors, always take somebody with you. Don't take the chance. Always have somebody in the room with you. Sadly, I've had experience with creepy doctors. They've done things to me that they shouldn't, or they give off a vibe that reminds me of previous experiences or just a vibe in general that I don't feel comfortable being alone with them. And that is a good intuition to have. Do not let a doctor take advantage of you. Do not let a doctor make you feel uncomfortable. It's also okay to have a nurse in the room with you if you don't have somebody to go with you to that appointment. Your intuition is usually right with doctors, so I would listen to it. Also okay to report a doctor if they're doing something wrong or making you feel uncomfortable. The next point is it's okay to look for a better doctor or a better fit for you. You're not stuck with a doctor even though you met with them one time. Sometimes I'm nervous that I'll make a doctor feel bad or I'll hurt their feelings if I leave them. Certain doctors don't have the resources to help me out, so it's okay to switch a doctor. Sometimes you do need a second opinion to get things moving along with your medical journey. So maybe you're stuck with a doctor and you don't see any improvements, or you're not getting better and you've just been stuck in this box for a while. It's okay to get a second opinion to see if maybe another doctor has better resources to better help you out. Now, I do want to give a caveat again, because I'm not telling you to go shopping for doctors to find the one that will give you your way every single time. I don't think that's in your best interest if you are becoming your own doctor because you're just shopping around. I don't want you to be playing med MD for yourself. We're looking for doctors that are going to help us get better in the end. That's the end goal. We want a good, solid doctor that makes us feel comfortable, that makes us feel like motivated that we can get better and keep going on with our lives and not have to deal with this situation forever. You can follow a doctor if you want. If you have a doctor that you like and they're leaving the medical group that you've been working with, you're allowed to follow them if they're going to a different hospital system. Sometimes with doctors, I don't know the technicalities behind it, but they're not allowed to tell you where they're going to. You're allowed to slightly stalk them. And when I say that, I don't mean like find their address and like follow them around like a creepy stalker. I mean, you can keep Googling them until they pop up again and see where they went and follow them to that location. I've actually done that with a doctor before. I really liked the services that he provided me. He made me feel so comfortable and he helped me find answers, and I felt like I was getting better when I was with him, and I didn't feel comfortable just switching to another doctor for that medical situation. I wanted to stick with him because he knew my plan. He knew kind of how my brain worked, and he trusted me with my own medical body. Granted, sometimes I know this is not an option. Maybe they're moving out of state. Maybe they're moving out of network, so you're gonna have to pay like $1 million to see them. I understand it's not always an option, but you can always try and see where they're going and see if your insurance will take them. We don't need to make it a financial burden on ourselves to follow a doctor. Even though they're great, we can find other options that are within our medical network that our insurance will cover. This is another point that I've struggled with in the past, and it's okay to be honest with your doctor. You can share with your doctor if you're upset, if you're overwhelmed, if you don't like the medical plan that you're on. So an example of this is when I've been in the AER in the past, I've had situations where they just pump me with fluids and then they send me on my merry way. And I've actually talked to the ER doctor and told them, hey, I am really scared you're gonna send me home and I'm not gonna get answers and I'm just gonna continue to get worse. What can we do to make a plan so then I don't leave here feeling like nothing came of it and I spent all this money for nothing? When I'm honest with them and I say that, they're more likely to help me out. I would also always recommend, before you leave a doctor's appointment, before you leave a hospital, before you leave any medical situation, that you have a plan in place, because it's really easy for a doctor to say, okay, great, have a nice day, and you don't have anything to go off of, or maybe you just have the one medicine that they prescribe but you don't really know what it's going to do for you. The next thing is something I'm really bad at, and it's be proactive. I like to wait until I get really bad, like really sick, before addressing the problem. Since I'm sick a lot, I feel like I'm already addressing some of these symptoms, but I don't always address the other symptoms that I'm starting to notice popping up. So waiting until the last minute is not a good option. I also lie to myself in my brain and tell myself, it's gonna get better, it's gonna get better. I don't need to tell the doctor this, it's just gonna clear up on its own. When in reality, you need to seek help for the sickness. I also wanted to share some resources with you on things that I found in regards to medical advocacy. I'm going to put them in the description, and I might look up some more after I'm recording this. So I would look at the resources down in the description if you want help with medical advocacy. Again, my first recommendation is have someone that you trust do it with you. You have a friend, have a family member go with you to the appointments to help you remember things, to help you stick up for yourself with a doctor. It's nice to have that as your first option, as well as yourself as your first option. Sometimes your insurance company has medical advocacy programs within its realm, and you can call and get signed up for it. For example, I have a nurse that calls me once a month or every couple of weeks, and they help me make sure that medicines are getting approved through insurance. Another option that I can think of is different hospitals also have advocacy programs within their hospital that you can request. Don't know if those work with your insurance, or if that's provided through the hospital or the system that you work with, that could be a really great resource to look into, and give them a call or look and see if they have anything online with your local hospital. The thing that I had looked into is there's a patient advocate foundation, and I'll list their website below, but they have like case management, co-pay relief management, financial aid programs, and so I think that could be a potential really good website that you could look into, and they might be able to help you with that. Next option is the National Patient Advocate Foundation, and I'll put their website below as well. They have some really great resources on their website that I'll let you look through and explore. That could be a good option for you. The other thing I want to talk about is there are other alternatives to modern medicine. Now, if you don't like the medical realm, there are those other alternatives that you can turn to. I don't think that I'm the best person to speak to you about this. I haven't really explored these opportunities as much. I'm more like working with the medical field right now. If you don't like that and you haven't explored those opportunities, it might be something to look into. I know there's different vitamins and supplements, different types of eating habits. There's all kinds of different medical professionals or professionals that are at your disposal. You just have to look into it and do some research. Family and friends might know as well. And I recommend you do your own research with that, or anybody that has information regarding this, put it in the comments, because I think that could also be a good option if you're not comfortable with the medical field or you feel like it's not working for you. That's all I really have for you today. I hope that you can find something helpful out of this video. I think it's kind of long, so sorry, I'm kind of long-winded, but I'm passionate about it. I really want you to have the best opportunities. I don't want you to have to make some of the mistakes that I've made. I don't want doctors to walk all over you. I want you to have the best. I want the best for you. Now, I am 100% positive that I've missed something today. There are so many other things that could be helpful that I've missed, or maybe I don't know myself. So I would recommend, if you have other good suggestions or other good ideas, put it in the comments so then other people can read that and find other helpful information. And hopefully we can all grow and learn and make this a community of people that can help each other through medical situations, because they're normally not fun. And I can really relate with that. I really want you to have the best opportunities and the best options that can work for you. Please comment it so I can be nosy and see what I can be doing better too. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe or whatever, but no pressure. I might make more videos about the medical journey that I've had, like a story time, something like that. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't talk to strangers unless they give you candy. And I will see you next time. Alright, bye!